We have to hear the story of the pig kicking Josh. Can you share that?
Which one? The one
one
where
you-
I fractured a rib?
Yeah.
One of those moments where we're arguing.
Yeah, and there was a pig that got out and it was in a pasture it wasn't supposed to be in, and
Because pigs are fast.
Yeah,
You've
people
never
are-
seen a pig run.
Yeah.
You try
I
and catch
think
one.
pigs are
I've
fast.
seen video, but I feel like it's hard to
They
tell.
will outrun you or
Straight up juke
you out.
Yeah.
You
And they're all slimy and muddy.
and or not even just dry. You're just they're gonna outrun you and juke you out, and you're not catching them. Like you have to.
You have to
think-
grab a leg.
Yeah, you have to think and know how pigs move to catch them.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of On the Move with Matt. Today I'm here with Josh and Dayna Geraghty, and they are the owners of Geraghty's Micro Farm. So thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks
And
for having us.
yeah, let's get started. How did you guys get to Winchester?
So Josh is originally from Winchester. I'll let him tell his story, and then I can go into mine.
Been in Winchester my whole life. So 34 years. Don't plan on ever leaving. So
How about you, Dayna?
I'm originally from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I moved to Winchester, 12 years ago now.
Okay.
Mainly for a job. I was in the Navy and got job opportunity here. All my family's still in Lancaster County, so that was a little odd to
Yeah.
navigate. Be like, hey, let's just uproot, leave the family, being
Yeah.
young, 20 years old. But I'd say it's worked out.
And Winchester's a lot smaller than Lancaster, right?
It is, but it isn't. So I grew up in a very rural area. I would say it's
Yeah.
comparable to where we're at now on Apple Pie Ridge.
Right.
But the grocery store was 30 minutes away. So
Oh, wow, a
we
little
have that
different.
convenience here of being, 5 minutes from downtown versus
Right.
what I grew up with.
And you guys are first generational farmers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
did you wake up one day and say, I want to be a farmer? Or what led you up to this? Do you have previous careers?
Mm-hmm. So I would say it was kind of progressive. It was more like a lifestyle change for us. When Josh and I first got together, we were living in a townhouse and we were, very, very active lifestyles, as you know.
Right.
I mean, we worked out together. That's how I
Right.
met you, Matt. That's where I met Josh, was at a CrossFit gym. And
Right.
we were just, working out every waking moment, going hiking, all that stuff.
Right.
We actually competed in Olympic weightlifting in our early days, and I don't really know what led us to the farming aspect in the beginning, but I will say,
well, the chickens in the townhouse.
well, yeah, no, I know we had the chickens, but I'm trying to think what drew us to. We were watching vlogs of homesteaders and
Right.
farmers doing kind of what we did in the beginning. I don't really necessarily know what led us to that in the beginning, but yeah, Josh.
Owen,
Oh yeah, I guess
our coach.
Yeah.
Is he a farmer?
His family farmed, but he also lived in town. I think he had an acre in town, and then he had a pig and bees.
Right. Yeah.
And some chickens and ducks.
And
we're
there were
like, "This
always
is cool."
people. Yeah, there was always people
And we'd
making
go over
complaints.
we'd go over and watch them when we'd go out of town. Just
Yeah.
be the
Yeah.
farm sitter, and then
So then we had chickens in our backyard in our townhouse. And
Right.
then we're like, wait a second, we don't want to live in a townhouse. We want
Right.
a couple acres. We want to be able to grow our own food, that type of thing. And it never really was the plan to be farmers.
Right.
It was just to grow food for our family.
I guess more homestead
Yeah,
based.
yeah. And just feed ourselves, know where our food came from. Because again,
Right.
living that healthy lifestyle, wanting to
Right.
know what we ate. It's
Right.
yeah, we're super blessed to live in a county where there's a lot of farmers and things like that.
Right.
But the way Josh and I do things is it's an all or nothing approach. So
Right, yeah.
we're if we're going to do this, we're going to grow it ourselves. We're going to know what's in it. We want to live this lifestyle. So it's just kind of snowballed from there.
Right. And how do you guys balance, you have 2 kids now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance family life with the farm? That's got to be incredibly hard.
If anyone figures out that secret, please let me know, because we're
Right.
still trying to find that balance. It's
Yeah.
still very challenging, as you know. I
Right.
mean, you have a young family, you have a
Yeah.
business and that thing. But in the beginning, Josh and I were both working full time, and it just got
Right.
to the point where it's we started with the homesteading, and then we transitioned to a business. We started a farm. We opened our market, and it was like, this is not sustainable for both of us to be working full time. Like
Right.
something has to change.
Yeah.
So that's
and having the
when-
kids at the same time.
Yeah, and I mean, you can go into kind of your career shift and how that looked.
Yeah, working architecture and then switching to full-time dad and farm, having the family, and you have the kids involved every day as you're doing chores. So it doesn't
Right.
matter rain, shine, hot, cold. It's
got to get done.
Animals need to be fed, chores need to be done. You got to make it enjoyable. So, like, they have 4-wheelers they can ride on. They're still out doing chores with us on their
Right.
equipment, what they're doing. But if you make it so it's a fight every day, then they're not going to enjoy it. And then if we're trying to make it like generational, then they'll continue potentially farming because it's something they grew up doing and they enjoyed it.
Right.
Versus they say, I absolutely do not like this. I'm moving to New York because
Right. Yeah.
it's having them involved is definitely they're running the market. They're feeding chickens, feeding pigs, feeding cows.
But
Right.
yeah, I mean, the market got to the point where you were still working full time.
Yeah.
I was working full time. And then you made that shift after Hadley was born. Again, it's like, it's not sustainable the way it's doing. We can't be, working full time off the farm, part-time farmers, but having a full-time farm business, trying to farm on the weekends, that type. It's just
Right.
like, there's
Too
not
much.
enough hours.
Yeah.
So he went part-time after Hadley was born, our oldest. She's 4. And then when Gavin was born, we're in that same predicament. It's like, we're only getting busier. We're
Right.
only getting bigger. This is not sustainable where we're at. So he loved architecture. It was really, it's a blessing for you to be home with the kids and that kind of thing. But it was also kind of heartbreaking to see him have to say goodbye to a career that he loves so much, because it's not
Yeah.
like you hated your job.
No.
Like, you grew up wanting to be an architect.
Yeah, it
And
was
you got to
enjoyable.
how many years were you an architect?
15 years, and then
It was just one day. It's like,
it was just one day. It led up to
well,
it. Like
yeah.
we obviously knew we were having a second kid, and then
Right.
But
it
it's
wasn't
like
just like
your
overnight. I just all right, I'm done.
your heart was in farming though, right?
Yeah.
Like, you go to work and you'd be like, man, I wish I could just be, outside. I'm not made. He's like, he would say it all the time. Whoever made a 40-hour work week is an idiot.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
why am I sitting here just, plugging away at the computer when I could be home, working outside, working the hardest you've ever worked in your life to,
Right.
build something for yourself. So that was just kind of like that turning point of, let's just be a stay-at-home dad.
Right, yeah.
And farm. So I still have my off-farm career. I've been in my field for 14 years now. The goal is to, retire early from my
Right.
career. But,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we still have a family. I want good health insurance for my family,
Yeah.
retirement plans, that type of thing. We've been really lucky to have, the support from the farm. But I also think, too, it's kind of like finding that balance of, I don't want to say security, but, having your own business, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get that paycheck.
Yeah, it's
so
all
that's always scary.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know how you do that, because I know Anna's a stay-at-home mom. So that's very scary to
Yeah.
be like, I'm the sole provider and this has to work. There's not an option,
Right, yeah.
whereas I still do have that additional income off the farm. So yeah, it's always hard to balance. Like, I have the full-time job, the farm's a full-time job, as well as I know, like, the list of everything you have to do. Like, it's not just farming. Like, I personally manage the website, social media, inventory. I mean, the list goes on. It's
Right,
just
yeah.
like, the balance is very hard.
Right,
And you
yeah.
know that. So again, if anyone has that, secret,
Right. Yeah.
I will say, we prioritize family time. I prioritize doing it as a family. We have those set times together where it's not about the business, but again, it's still 24/7. Like, we're never
Right.
caught up.
Yeah.
And that just kind of,
Right.
you
It's
kind of just
never
have
ends.
to like roll with it and have that mentality of, you're never going to be caught up.
Right.
Because if you get caught in that, stress and things like that, it's just, it'll just bury you.
Right. And I think most entrepreneurs have that mindset, like you said, like for us, like I'm the only source of income.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, it's like their option failure is not an option.
Yeah.
So whatever it takes, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
You don't look backwards, you don't think about failure.
Hmm.
You just keep going. And it sounds like you guys have that mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm sure architecture, you can carry that over to the farm because don't you have to build structures everywhere and
Hmm.
somebody has to design it. You don't just start putting 2x4s together.
Yeah, exactly. And when we bought the property where we're at, it was literally raw land and a house, an old rancher. There was zero infrastructure set up for livestock or farming in general. What we had was grass that we could use to graze the animals on and potentially grow the gardens. And then it just evolved. So, I designed all the structures for the animals and kind of laid everything out.
Right.
Originally, it started as like temporary structures to figure out how we're going to utilize the land and where we should put the certain animals, to building more permanent structures. But yeah, we're still building stuff to this day. I'm still building things, whether it's fencing or structures or corrals or something.
And I'm sure it's constantly changing
Hmm.
because you're probably always innovating, thinking of new, how can we use this
Hmm.
space? And you guys have expanded and bought more land or leased more land.
We leased, yeah.
So,
So again, it really wasn't like the idea to have a farm, have a business where we bought.
right.
So we have just a few acres where we're at. In
Yeah.
hindsight, if we knew what the plan was, we would have bought a lot more land. The requirements for our property would have been a lot different.
Yeah.
But we're big advocates of just showing people, and I think it's a good thing, like you said, being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's, you just make it work, you keep going. So I think it's really
Yeah.
good for us, and for people that want to do something similar to show that, you can do a lot with a little.
Right.
And my biggest thing I like to show people, and now that when they come to visit the
Yeah.
market, is we're literally growing food for our community in our front yard. Like, you do not need a 2,000 acre farm like our neighbors have to be able to feed your community.
Right.
So, yeah, it was just a few acres. We've kind of maxed out the capacity a few years ago. I mean, that was 3 or 4 years ago. We kind of capped
Yeah.
out the space we had at our property. So
Right.
then it was the challenge of finding lease land, which is almost impossible to find.
Right.
So our first lease, we're in Winchester, Apple Pie Ridge. Our first lease was in Shepherdstown
Oh,
for our
wow.
cattle. So that was like our first expansion because,
Right.
again, it was like, being new business owners, we didn't want to tie up all like this capital or money we didn't have in
Yeah.
buying land and then having to put infrastructure on it, buying livestock. Like, that just wasn't money we had. We didn't feel
Fencing.
like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
we didn't feel like that was going to be a smart
Right. Yeah.
business decision. So leasing was our next best option, but that was 45 minutes one way.
Yeah.
And
And
we're both still working.
yeah, we were
So
both
it'd
working
be,
at that time. So
you get off work and
now,
go
yeah,
out there. Then you're not getting home till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Then you're still at the
Yeah.
property. So it's just
yeah,
Then
very late nights.
if you're miserable, that
everyone's
transfers over
miserable.
to the kids. They're gonna be miserable.
Hmm.
So yeah, you got to do what's best for your family.
Yeah, so things have kind of progressed, and that's just another level of the farm that's like really beautiful, is like
Right.
meeting all these new people. Is, we now have 2 leases. We have one lease for our cattle
Well, 3
that's
technically.
Oh,
The
yeah, I
pigs.
guess you're right. So, the one is 5 miles down the road for our cattle. We're looking to expand that in the near future too, lease some more land from them, but it was a customer of ours. She came in, she was buying our stuff, and she's like, "Hey, guys, like, I have this 185 acre farm. Like, would you all be interested in leasing some of that?" And we're like, "Yes, please," because
So
we
you.
were still going to Shepherdstown at that
Oh,
time.
wow. So
So we're
you have
like 5 miles versus that all day
how
long.
many acres do you have there?
I think it's about 30 right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, so we just did a very small portion. Again, we didn't want to like overcommit
Right.
because it was kind of on her end too. She didn't want to put in brand new fencing.
She did. Yeah.
I mean, she did, but it was just like not her entire farm, if
Yeah.
that
Because
makes
the cost,
sense.
upfront cost for her end would have been a lot to.
So it was scary on both
Oh, for
sides.
Because
her.
there was no, again, at her property, she didn't have the infrastructure set up for cattle. She had raw land, she had springs and ponds, and
Hmm.
it was ready for livestock.
Right.
There was just no fencing to keep the livestock in.
Okay.
So we did a long-term lease with her, and she did put the fencing in. And then that property is actually going through a state conservation project too to preserve the soil and water. So we're fencing the ponds and springs out so the livestock doesn't disturb those areas, and putting in water troughs and other divided fences to keep the cattle rotation going.
That's cattle only there?
Yeah, at that property is just cattle, and then potentially going to get see if we can lease some additional land, because again, as we're growing, we're not maxed out at that spot, but would like to have options for future. So if we start it now, again, fencing doesn't go in overnight.
Yeah, it's a long
So
process to work.
if we can get something going and have fencing in a year or two out there, then that can kind of give us an idea of how much we could grow as we look into the future, because you have to plan everything kind of so far out in advance.
Yeah.
And then the other lease is probably 1.5 miles away.
Similar situation. It was a customer of ours.
Yeah, and they have about 15 acres that we're working with them for pigs. Right now, 95% of the pigs are on our property, and we have probably about 170 pigs.
And how do you get water out there? Does she lease you a well as well, or
at the cows, or
with the cows? Do you pull
so
off
there's the springs in the pond that have the water now, but with the conservation, since we're going to be fencing those areas off to preserve the water, because the watershed to contaminate the water for further down the waterway. The state's paying. It's 100% reimbursement, so the state pays for your the whole project has a well, your pump house, your water lines, your concrete pads, your water troughs, your divider fences, your fencing that to keep the animals out of the areas they shouldn't be in. And that conservation project we've been working on for over a year now.
And we're getting close to completion.
Yeah, it's about 80% done. Hopefully it'll be done early summer.
Okay.
But yeah, and the reason that really started was, well, there's two reasons: to preserve the water and soil, but also about 2 years ago, the pond went dry and the springs went dry. And there was zero water. So we were taking 600 gallons of water a day from our well.
Oh.
Where we're using our well for our house, all the pigs, all of our gardens.
You talk about stress. Like, that's just another stress. It's like they need water to survive.
Yeah.
And you hope your well's deep enough.
Yeah. Which just found out it is, because I had to replace the well pump like 3 weeks ago.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. I'm surprised that like the pond and the spring are, sufficient enough for all these cows.
Yeah.
Like what happened?
It's great when there's water and we have rain, but even think about it in the winter. Think about this past winter. There was 8 inches of ice with, negative temperatures, and we had to go out there with an axe and bust that pond up every day, sometimes twice a day, to make sure our cattle had water. So that's just another reason to get this project through, so they always have water.
Yeah. I'm assuming like big operations, 2,000 acre farms, they might have multiple wells.
It depends. Like certain farms like that, they'll have big waterways that are just running stronger. Maybe
if you have
don't
a creek,
freeze
if you have
over.
a creek, water that's moving isn't going to freeze, or it's going to take a lot longer to freeze.
And another point is they have more cattle. So if there's, traffic going to the water, sometimes, they're still probably running into issues, but it's the same, but it's not.
Right. And how many cows can you have per acre? Is there a rule?
They say about 1 per acre, but it all depends on how if you're doing like rotation, how you manage the property. If you rotationally graze them, where they eat the certain area that you have them in, and then you move them on a certain frequency. So like you move them every 3 days to fresh pasture. You normally can go like half an acre per cow, as long as you allow regrowth to come back. And then there's feedlot style, which isn't what we do, which is you have
as many as you can cram in there.
Yeah, and
just
you're
feed them in the trough.
Yeah, you're supplementing them with feed. They don't have pasture to graze.
So it's not grass fed.
No.
Yeah.
So what we do is kind of a mix. We don't do strictly grass fed, but they are pasture raised. They're out on grass. They have
24/7.
They got more grass than they know what to eat or to do with.
Right.
But we do finish our cattle on grain like the last 90 days before they become processed, and that's just adding flavor and marbling into the meat, because strictly grass-fed beef does have a distinct taste.
Right.
And
that's, it's just another part of the business is like delivering a product that your customer base is familiar with.
Right.
So most people eat beef that is grain finished. So I want to be able to give a product to our customer base that first they know how to cook, because grain fed and grass fed beef is going to cook differently. So even though our beef is primarily grass fed and just that little bit of grain, it gives them that product that they're used to eating their entire life.
Right.
It's just at a higher level. And then just another level to that is, even with it being grain fed, we get to support another local small business. And the feed company that we buy all our feed from, we get a semi-load to our farm every other week. They're really unique because they grow all the grains for the feed. So they grow it all. It's out of Clear Spring, Maryland. Their feed is Wholesome Harvest. There's a couple local places that sell their feeds. But so they grow the grains, they harvest it, they mill it, they bag it all on their farm, which is like one of a kind. There isn't anything like that on the market. Yeah. So we're lucky to have access to them to have that high quality feed for all of our livestock.
Right. And what is a micro farm versus like a regular farm?
So micro farm, that's a very like valid question, because some people think we grow like micro livestock or micro greens, because microgreens is like big right now.
Yeah.
But again, it just goes back to like showing people you can do a lot with a little. And I mentioned, a lot of other farmers in the area are generational farmers. So being first generation farmers, we started on a micro level. So we started with 8 acres in the beginning?
No.
With the lease.
Well, really, it started with just what we had was the 3 acres.
So, okay, we started with 3 acres, and we wanted to set that tone, set that difference from the very beginning, that, you're not purchasing from this large scale farm. You're purchasing from Josh and Dayna. And we showed with social media back then, so Facebook, Instagram, that type of thing, us literally walking out of our front door. Our gardens are to the left, to the right. We have chickens in our front yard. We have pigs in our front yard, cows, that type of thing. So that's kind of like what started the micro. And even though we've gotten bigger, we're still on a micro level, to be completely honest.
Where the farms around us, so again, going to the micro aspect of it, the farm that like literally surrounds us is 700 acres. That's on 3 out of the 4 sides of us. The neighbor across the street is probably 1,800 acres. The whole area around us, they're very large, more commercial-based farms.
Right.
So the micro is literally because we started on 3 acres. That is very, very small compared to the areas
and that just goes back to like Josh and his architecture background. Like if you could see like his notes, he'll usually use like a napkin or a Post-it note or something. He's like has everything lined out down to the foot, or down to the exact number that the property can sustain. And he gets a little anal sometimes. He's kind of let go as years have gone by. But like when we first set up our gardens, like we could maximize our garden space more. But since he has that architectural background, he wants it to look good too. So since we have, the community coming to the farm, we didn't want it to have that poor visual aspect. So when we set up our gardens, we were out there with a ruler and tape measure and lines, and he's like, no, Dayna, you got to get it up, it's not straight. Like, and we had the farmers surrounding us. He'd stop, he'd be like, man, those are straight, how do you get it like that? And I'm like, with a ruler,
tape measure.
So I mean, sometimes it feels a little excessive, but I poke fun, But at the end of the day, like when people roll up and they see, the perfect striped lawn or the hand painted garden signs or even the market, we converted our 2-car garage into an on-farm market. Josh designed the whole thing. So it's, muted tones on the walls. Everything's, wood, metal, like all hand fabricated, hand painted walls, all that, custom glass and metal doors. Like Josh designed all of that. And it's funny because people come in and they'll be like, oh my gosh, Dayna, like you're such a great designer. And I'm like, I have no parts in that. That's all him.
Yeah.
So we really think like that presentation is really important, and that's all from his background, like with interior design and all that, like all comes into play.
Yeah. And like you said, curb appeal.
Yeah.
If somebody comes up and they can see, oh wow, look how straight their rows are, and you have the little signs like these are the green beans, these are the tomatoes.
It sticks with people.
Yeah.
And it just shows you care.
Subconsciously they're like, wow, if they care about this, then they care about their animals, and I'm getting a good product.
Yeah. And that was the point behind doing an on-farm market is, the biggest model with farmers is, going to a bigger farm market or event that is located off the farm. Not many people, like what we're doing isn't normal on many levels. Most people don't have a market on the center of their farm.
Right.
But we felt it was very important to not have any secrets, to let the community see like, hey, what we say and what we promise is actually true. And it's gone to show like it speaks volumes. And like you said, people remember that. And it's just, that level of care is just really, really important to our customer base.
And what can, like, if somebody shows up, what can they buy at the market? Is it just meat, eggs? What is it?
Do you want to touch base on that?
Yeah, it's a mix of like what we grow, but as well as other small farms that don't have a place to be able to sell their items. So like what we would have that we grow would be like the beef side of things, the pork, the chicken, eggs.
Right.
And then there is additional produce that we do grow, but majority of our produce is grown for our CSA customers. But we'll have extras when we do harvest. And then there are other items such as honey that comes from a neighbor 2 miles down the road, just because we don't have, we have bees, but we don't have honeybees that we harvest.
Right.
Honey.
Yeah.
We have a natural honeybee tree that pollinates all the gardens. There'll be we don't bake and do the sourdough. We have another farm that's about 4 miles up the road. She bakes sourdough every week for the market,
which is the big thing now, right?
Yeah.
So
there's items that we sell that aren't necessarily grown on our property or we make, but it's also supporting other small farms that are doing something very similar to us, but just don't have an on-farm market and a way to sell their products. So we just kind of have that area for them to be able to bring and sell their items.
We even do a lot of collaborating with other businesses. Like, for example, Bethlehem Farm, they're located in Winchester. They do stone-fired pizzas. So we collaborated with them. We have a whole freezer full of pizzas, but we have our own line of salamis. So what we did is partnered with them. They make pizzas for us, and we use the salamis that we produce from our pork to have another product. We have like kombucha, we have dairy, so milk, butter, cheeses, maple syrup. We have a lot of dry goods, so like pancake mix, cornbread mix. Really, the whole idea.
The new thing, well, not really new, but would be the dog treat line that we do in house. It's all the items that necessarily would be scrapped when you take an animal into the butcher. So like the ears and livers, tongue, snouts.
Right. Oh wow.
The hides.
Yeah. Hey, it's Matt Kilmer. Yes, the guy you're listening to right now. When I'm not sitting down with local business owners and sharing their stories, I'm helping people buy and sell homes right here in Winchester, Frederick County, and even across state lines into West Virginia. For me, real estate isn't just about transactions, it's about finding the right fit for your life. Whether you're upgrading, downsizing, or even buying your very first home, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. From showings to negotiations, you'll never be left wondering what's next. If you're thinking about making a move, pause this episode, send me a quick message, and let's make your next move the right one. All right, let's get back to the episode.
Normally that's just an afterthought, and when you take an animal to the butcher, you don't get those items back. But having a single ingredient dog treat, it's just dehydrated items, and then
Well, and it's just another way for us to honor our livestock, because our mission statement from the very beginning, like just another level of why we wanted to do this was your food deserves better.
Right.
So we wanted to show people that their food, the livestock they're consuming,
Yeah.
they deserve a life that they should be living. You know, the chickens should be out foraging for bugs. Pigs should be out on pasture in their wallow. Cows should be happily grazing pasture. So it was just another way for us to not throw something away, and still give that high quality to just people's pets, because people really care about their pets too. So it's single ingredient, super high quality, and then it's just less waste. And then another level of that is, you know, we butcher close to 100 pigs a year.
Wow.
I don't want to say a byproduct, because it's not a byproduct, but something that was piling up a lot for us was pork fat.
Oh, wow.
So pork fat is kind of like an interesting thing to try to market, to sell, that type of thing. Most people don't want to buy pork fat and render it down and
throw it away.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that's just another level of the farm of like getting creative, because, you know, every dollar counts. So the dog chews is a perfect example of that, but it's creating products that are marketable from something that's not marketable. So the candles and wax melts are like two prime examples of that.
Yeah.
I had like this massive chest freezer, of pork fat. And, you know, I was just thinking of like generations before us, what they would do with it. So I started making candles, wax melts, soaps, just like Josh said. And now, you know,
Soap out of pork fat?
Yeah, because it's actually like really lathering.
Oh, wow.
And we have soaps that have homegrown loofahs, which are like the sponges you buy in the store. Most people think they're like from the sea, but it's really grown on a vine and looks like a squash.
We grew probably 1,000 of them last year.
Yeah.
So we had
Interesting.
a bunch of loofahs.
So yeah, we sell a lot of soap. I'm now a candle maker. I do that.
Oh, wow.
Didn't foresee that. So yeah, I'm up late at night making candles all the time. But, you know, it solved that problem. And like just keep going on, you know, that aspect of, you know, having things that would kind of keep stockpiling and getting creative and stuff like that. Like organ meat is also another hard product to sell, like with farming. And it's like, we didn't want to throw it away because it's really wasteful. And it's like, we're going to figure this out. It's just a problem. We can overcome it, that type of thing. But when you're butchering, say, 40 steer a year, like a cow's liver is huge. So most people don't want it back. So what we did is, you know, we look at other farmers. Again, we're not the first people that are farming. We're not the first people that have grown food. We think it's really important to work together, you know, in this community, share ideas. Like all of us have to succeed, because at the end of the day, like Josh and I can't feed the world. We're just feeding our neighbors.
Right, yeah.
Frederick County alone is huge. We can't feed Frederick County. So we need other farmers. So to get back to the point, sorry for the ramble, we created a product called Ancestral Blend, because everyone knows organ meat is really good for you. It's really healthy. I, for one, do not like the taste of liver. So we have the Ancestral Blend, which is like 80% ground beef, 20% ground liver. So it's just like that hidden product. And now we sell out. Like we were at the point where we had hundreds of pounds of liver. Now between the dog chews and the Ancestral Blend, like we can't keep up. We sell out immediately. So it's like just trying to think out of the box of all things farm related. It's, sometimes the answer doesn't come to us, immediately, but we get there eventually.
And how has the growth overall been? Has it been overwhelming year to year, or?
Yes. It's always a challenge. I would say that's the hardest thing about the farm as a whole. For example, when we first opened the market, we've had our on-farm market for about 3.5 years now. First, we would open just one day a week on Sundays, and we never had a week where no one showed up, and for
Right.
that, I'm very thankful for. But now, like even during the winter, we could see hundreds of people Friday and Sunday
Right.
in
Yeah.
an 8-hour time span. So it's like it's really difficult to plan for that type of growth because the first 4 or 5 years we were doubling almost every year because
Yeah.
we started very like micro level. We
Right.
butchered one pig
25
and
chickens.
one steer and 25 chickens.
Oh, wow.
We had very small gardens because we didn't want to like overcommit ourselves to like have all this product, have all this money tied into it, and then not have anything to sell and be like, oh my God, like we just started this and now we have to close the farm. We have to sell our property. Like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
worst case scenario, obviously. But
Yeah.
we started like very slow and just every year. So it was like 1 and 1. And then we did say maybe 3 pigs and 3 steers. Now our numbers are, just under 100 pigs. We're at like 40
something
steer
steer,
and
just shy of 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000 meat chickens.
Jeez.
And we're struggling to keep up.
Right. Yeah.
Like I just shared something on Facebook actually last night about the beef side of things. This is
Yeah.
just like a really good example, excuse me, to like put it into perspective just how hard it is. So our butcher, we work with General Harvest. They're 2.5 miles down the road.
Right.
We booked our butcher dates last year.
Oh,
So
wow.
even though we did a substantial amount more than last year, we're currently taking in steers every single month. And we plan for growth. We knew we're growing, more people are buying from us, that type of thing. But the same amount of beef that we're getting every month would last us on average about 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
We're selling out now this year in our slow time. We still haven't even hit our peak season yet. We're selling out in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So it's like I can't just magically grow more beef. I can't.
Well, we can raise more. We just don't necessarily have the dates locked in because the butchers.
That's been an issue for like 5 years. Yeah,
really since COVID, and we're giving our butcher the dates almost a year in advance. So it was back in like August of last year. We
Right.
gave him what we needed for all of 2025.
Yeah.
And he's probably gonna be opening his books up soon for 26. Like
And you can't take his whole day up every day.
I mean, we could say, hey,
I guess-
Tommy, like I need 20 beef a month or something.
Yeah.
But
I guess it may be risky for that business. Like, I'm going to put all my eggs in your basket type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think down the road it might be where you have to get 3 different butchers?
And see, that's another challenging thing. We aren't willing to do that.
Yeah, there are other local butchers in the area that are USDA because since we resell meat, it has to be USDA inspected.
Right.
But the butcher we use understands how we raise our animals and how
They're very humane in their handling. And that's not to say other people aren't. It's just we trust them the most.
Yeah, and we have enough of a connection that they kind of know, at this point now, like they know what, like we still fill out cut sheets, but they know what we exactly want and how thick we want stuff. And
it comes from like a quality control standpoint too. It's like
Right.
I don't ever want a customer to be unhappy because they get a different product than what they're used to. So yeah, and I think I don't want to say it would be a shortcut, but I see it as a shortcut being like, hey, I want to make more money. There's money to be made. It's not about the money for us. If it was, we wouldn't be farming.
Right. Yeah.
Just because of the time and effort that goes into it. So I want to make sure they're getting a product that they're happy with. And I know the butcher that we use can provide that. It's just it comes down to just, trying to plan better next year.
Right.
Because butchers are in the same boat as us, as they're overwhelmed. So it's like I give them what I think is a good amount, but sometimes you just fall short.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just trying to do better for next year.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's the same in your guys' business as mine. Like for
Yeah,
me, it's important to me, like if somebody calls to work with me, that they're working with me and they're not
exactly.
getting like three other people. Oh, this
Yeah.
person would show you the house. This person would do this.
Mhm.
It's kind of the same thing for you guys. Like you
Mhm.
want to make sure everything is the way you want it,
Mhm.
and it's not all about the money.
Yeah,
It's about the
exactly.
experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's important to note. Like, we always want to be the face of the farm. So it's like when you come into the market, you're not going to, walk up to someone that can't answer your questions. Like, you're talking to your farmer. And that's
Right.
why our
Yeah.
market hours are limited. We're only open on Friday and Sunday. And again, it's just about, getting creative because we have the customer base that want to buy things, but we can't open up every single day because, again, I still work. Josh is stay at home, farming full time. So, our schedules don't allow for us to have the market open every day.
Yeah.
So I started offering online ordering on our website, which again, it's gone really well, but
Right.
that
Yeah.
doesn't help my problem of like selling out so fast.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I put like eggs on our website every Monday and we're sold out in an hour or less. So
Oh
it's a
wow.
great problem, but at the same time it's like the demand is just crazy. And it's also meeting the needs of the customer. Like, so I need to give them what they want. They're used to being able to go on Walmart or Target or whatever, put in their order, do like a contactless pickup. So just being
Yeah.
innovative and giving people that same type of experience that maybe either one don't want to shop in person, they don't want to have that face-to-face interaction, or just aren't
Right.
available that
Right.
week,
Yeah, because
but
we are
still want to
limited. Yeah,
support us.
because
Yeah.
since we are limited Fridays and Sundays
Yeah.
are when the market's open, it allows you to select any day during the week and time that is convenient for you. So it's
Mhm.
Yeah.
making the customer the priority. So it's like
Yeah.
when are only available on Wednesday at 3 o'clock to pick something up, then we'll have their order ready for a contactless pickup behind the farm sign for them to go
Mhm.
and
And
pick
that
that
just
item
adds
up.
another job to my plate. Like, I'm a
And mine.
photographer. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one.
I'm the one that's
He's
pulling the
putting it
orders
out.
and
Yeah,
putting it out
so
to.
I did all the photography, the, website changes, that type of thing. I'm sending the emails at 10 or 11 o'clock at night with people to give them the instructions on how to pick up their order, that type of thing. So it's all works really, really well, but planning for growth is like it feels like that like impossible thing to do. So we do as best we can. It just another part of that. And again, like I said, I shared on Facebook, like we're very transparent with our customer base. And again, that's because they're working with us. They can
Right. Yeah.
trust us to share this information because if someone, comes to the market or goes online, especially right now, and just sees we're sold out all the time, someone may get really frustrated with that. But if I share why and
Right.
share, why we're in this predicament and it's because of you being so supportive, they're like, wow, like that's
A
awesome.
little more
So
understanding.
so it's just being, that open book type of thing, getting on social media, showing our faces, sharing our story from all aspects of the farm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the people come to the market, they have seen you on Facebook or Instagram, and they know your
Hmm.
story, but you may have never met them before, and they come into the market and like,
They feel
oh,
like they know
hey
us.
Right.
Dana, hey
Yeah.
Josh. I'm like, who's that? I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like,
oh,
oh,
they've been
hey.
following us for 5 years now. They
Yeah.
like everything you post, and I'm like, oh,
Or
well, who's
the really cool thing about that too is like people drive from like hours away. Like even just this weekend, one of my mom's like friends, she's been friends with since I don't even know how long, but I haven't seen this woman since I was a kid.
Right.
And
Yeah.
she showed up yesterday at the market and
from hours away?
I was like, Vicky, what are you doing here? She's like, I just been following along. Like I wanted to see you. I literally haven't seen this woman in 15
Wow.
years.
You just never know who's watching,
Yeah.
and it's like that
And I think it's so
parasocial
cool.
relationship.
Yeah.
Like they feel like they know you, but they've never met you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that just, running a business, that's another hard part is, you know, people want to support their friends. So it's like, I need to get on social media and be real and raw and share the good times, the bad times, like all that stuff, because that's
Yeah.
how you get people to support your business. Like, someone's not going to support your business if they feel like you're a stranger and feel like they can't talk to you.
Yeah.
So I've made a lot of friends over the years that I never would have met if it wasn't for the farm,
Yeah.
which is really special.
People want the real stuff. They don't want
Mhm.
fake. They don't want
Yeah.
clean, polished Facebook
Yeah.
stuff. They want to know like what's going on, what are you struggling with, all
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah, and you post that. You'll see videos and pictures of piglets being born and our kids holding the piglets, and to there have been
Yeah.
animals had to be
They're-
put down on the farm, and there's
Or just like
tons of
their last
stories,
day
and
with
yeah,
us before they go to the butcher. Like, that's a really sad day.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it should be a sad day because we do really care. But I think it's really important to share that too. Like, it's not like this selfless or like heartless job. Like, we do really, really care. But on the flip side, I think you know, social media is great, but everyone always wants that instant gratification these days, which I'm sure you're aware of too. Like,
Right.
if
Yeah.
someone sends you a message or email or something like that, they expect an answer in 30 seconds.
Or they move on to somebody else, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's been like hard to navigate, and I'm sure you can relate to that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I manage email, Facebook, Instagram, that type of thing. So even, you know, we're sitting right now, I'm sure I'm getting messages, and right after this, I'm going to have to go while we're driving to our next destination, respond to all these messages. Because if
Right.
I don't respond, they're going to find another farmer.
Yeah. But I'm sure since you guys are sharing your life, they see your kids, you're raising
Mhm.
it, then people are more willing to wait when they see the
do.
behind the scenes. They
Yeah, they
trust
can
you.
be more understanding. But just like from a new customer perspective, if they're asking a question about, you know, certain methods or thing like that, I'm sure there have been people that are just haven't gotten to fast enough. So it's just like, it's hard to manage all
Yeah.
that.
And you have to learn how to say no.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah,
can't be
for
everything
sure.
to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys talked about a CSA program. Can you
Mm-hmm.
explain what that is?
Yeah, so CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. So basically, you can think of it as like a share of our farm.
Yeah.
So you pay an upfront cost. Our CSA share is
Yeah.
$775. It's a 20-week program. And basically, what that entails, it's from June through October of every year.
Yeah.
You get our pasture-raised chicken, you get eggs and produce every
Yeah.
single week. It's pick up on our farm every Sunday.
Yeah.
So we release those shares in the winter. So we're actually sold out for the year. This year we do 25 families for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we release those every winter for summer
Right.
CSAs. And basically what that does is kind of fund the farm to make those purchases in the beginning of the year. Because, for example, just another part of planning,
Right.
managing,
Yeah.
that type of thing. Like, all our 1,000 meat birds that we're butchering this year were purchased very early this year. So that's huge
because
upfront
hatcheries and stuff are
cost.
selling out. You
Yeah.
can't.
Like, you couldn't buy them right now
Yeah, you
if
wouldn't
you
be able to
wanted
go put an
to.
order in for say 300 meat birds, chicks, and want them in a week or two. You wouldn't even probably be able to get them probably the rest of the year.
And
Yeah.
you're
Sell
not
out.
hatching them. You get them.
No.
We bought-
yeah,
yeah,
we
we
get
get
them
'em-
from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so they're hatched, and then they come that next day to us.
Do you guys ever hatch eggs just for the experience for the kids?
We do, yeah. Some of like our layers, sometimes they'll have like their own nest. We'll hatch our own in an incubator here and there. It's not something we've done in a while, but they've
Right.
definitely gotten to experience like a hen laying on eggs and having babies, and they always love babies.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy when the chicks come out
Oh
and they're all
yeah.
slimy and
Yeah.
trying to figure out what the world is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. Like,
You just did that in your kitchen.
oh
The-
yeah,
the-
that's
the-
right.
Well, they'll be here soon.
Yeah,
But-
no, that's cool.
I mean, if you go to the Frederick County Fair every year, you
Mhm.
can almost sit there and watch it live in person sometimes
Mhm.
if you time it right.
Mhm.
But once the kids are in sports, school, stuff like that, have you guys thought in advance, like, okay, now our life is going to change a little bit and get a lot more crazy?
Mhm.
Like, how are we going to navigate that, or just
Scheduling.
take it one day at a time?
I was gonna say, yes, scheduling is big, but we don't try to stress about what's to come. We do plan on homeschooling, so that'll give us some more flexibility.
Yeah.
But as far as schedules come, yeah, I don't want to say day to day because it's not like we're planning last minute, but I would say more like month to month. Like we
Right.
kind of know what to expect on the farm. Like there's never really downtime, so it's just a matter of like how are we going to fit that in? But we don't stress about that like years in advance. Otherwise, you just drive yourself crazy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure even with homeschooling, so maybe now you're able to do farm stuff all day long, but you would just
Mhm.
block that off and say, okay,
Yeah.
this is school time.
Yeah, it would just have like more I don't want to say concrete because that's the beautiful thing about
You
homeschooling
could be
too is you have
flexible.
flexibility to make it work for
Right.
you. It's like Hadley doesn't have to start school at 7 a.m. Like we can figure that out.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely have to come up with like I don't want to say better because our schedule is pretty good. It was
Yeah.
just, yeah, kind of blocking off time that works best for the farm.
And how's it been working together as husband and wife? Always the fun question.
I was gonna say, and it's probably different for you because you and Anna don't like work the business together side
Right.
by side. So there's beautiful moments, there's hard moments. I would say the hardest moments were probably in the very, very beginning because of the stress levels and us both working. There's been some choice words that were said to each other that, probably shouldn't have been said. But I would say, if anything, it's only made our relationship stronger. It's made us better as a couple.
Mm.
So it's just trying to navigate those stressful situations and kind of just my takeaway from the last couple years is, just moving forward. Sometimes that's easier said than done, but we're
Right.
put in very, very stressful situations with each other. Like I don't want to sound dramatic and say life or death, but some situations are kind of life or death when you're working with large animals like large steers, you're loading them, you're trying to corral them in different places. Like these livestock could seriously hurt you, and we have to work together as a team. We can't work against each other. So it's definitely been a challenge to try to find that happy medium, but we've overcome a lot of things over the years and we make a really great team.
Yeah, because there's definitely things that you do a lot better than I do. Like
Mhm.
I don't do any of the social media. I don't do the website. I don't do the emailing behind the scenes stuff.
I thought I saw you on TikTok last week. No.
Oh,
different
that's
video.
right. No, you did. You saw the video, you loading the cattle, but I posted it. He's gotten better about the pictures.
Again,
I
I
and
didn't post it. I
videos.
didn't know about it.
Yeah.
That used to be a thing in the very beginning because we talk about sharing our story and stuff. Josh would be like, Dayna, put the phone away.
Well,
Stop
yeah,
taking pictures. Stop
that
taking
would be one of the.
videos.
You'd start hearing some words that you shouldn't be saying because it'd be I'm trying to
He's
load.
on a
I'm
schedule.
trying to load a 1,500-pound steer, and she's like, "Well, we gotta get a video or a picture of this real fast." I'm like, "No, you're putting it down. We're getting this thing loaded. I'm not trying to."
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's things that I do well as just like can infrastructures of building things and maintenance of keeping the
Yeah.
property looking done. So it's just like working as a team. There's definitely you find who does things better, and then it's kind of
Yeah.
this
We do a lot of
your
stuff
tasks. These are
together.
my tasks, and then there's the joint things, and again there's the joint as a family that you're gonna go do all this together, or there's even just sending one of the Hadley out to go get eggs, or Hadley go pull something from the garden because she's not at the age that you can now give her a task. So
Right.
it's finding what task can be done individually or as a group, and then working through that all.
Yeah. And
And
it's
I would
kind of
say, yeah,
Oh, go
no, go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say, it's similar to when you're raising your kids too.
Mhm.
Sometimes, you might butt heads on something and you have to
Mhm.
kind of hone in and be like, look, we're on the same team.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to work together.
And you gotta, and even if you are on the same page, you might not think it, but like, yeah, you gotta learn to like work together, which is, like you said, easier said than done,
Yeah.
which are most things, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I would say another interesting thing about our dynamic is I've talked to a lot of other farmers about this, And I would say most of the time on farmers, things are a lot more segregated. And that might be why I don't want to say things can be more challenging, but I think it makes us stronger and more valuable as a team. Is most of the time is the wife is the caretaker for the kids. She's doing, all the admin type stuff versus he's farming all day. And I'm just kind of, there supportive for him.
Yeah.
But because some people come in and be like, oh, Josh, it must be really hard to work all those pigs and do this and do that. And he's like, no, Dana's literally right next to me when I do that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
sometimes I
Or
think,
she'd be out in the field grabbing a 100-pound pig and moving it to a different field.
yeah.
It's like,
So
Yeah.
she does it too. It's
yeah,
not
we
just
do a
me.
lot of stuff together that isn't, I don't want to say typical. I don't want to say it's not typical either, but I would say it's a very interesting dynamic that we have because we can do so much together.
Mhm.
But then we have learned that, certain tasks are better for him and certain tasks are better for me. And just trying to fit that into our schedules of who can do what at what time.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be that way because if one of us is down for a sickness, an injury or something,
The whole farm can't fall apart
Yeah,
because I can't do chores.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
animals still
Right,
need to be
yeah.
fed. Stuff still needs to be watered. Stuff still needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
So it's like, as long as both parties can still do those chores and get it done, it might not be exactly how one or the other would have done them, but as long as they understand how to, I guess, get it complete, then
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes they say 80% is good enough,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where you
Most
might.
days aren't 100%, to be
Ye-
completely honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and some people try to do everything themselves, and they're like, "Well, nobody does it like me."
Yeah.
But if it can get done, close to perfect, then
yeah,
Mhm.
and
that
that was the issue
that's
I
how
was
you-
having in the
that's how you-
beginning. Was like, I wanted everything so perfect.
There was
and
a lot
done.
of arguments
And it was
because
like,
of
no,
that.
it needs to be like this. Versus, it's at the point now where it's like, we have some other families help us on the farm, plant produce and help do things. And it's just kind of like, I'll give them a task. If they can just get it done, great. Because I don't have time to have
It
it
was
get
very
it done.
hard
And
for him
it's
in the
just to
beginning.
let
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
of certain things. Yeah, it did. Like, did they plant all that line of lettuce straight or
Did they harvest it exactly the way
how
you
way I
wanted
would have
to?
done it?
Yeah.
But there are still things that I won't let go of, like cutting the grass or doing certain things. That's
Do you have the garden? Do you have your laser out there like the foundation guys? Like, it's settled a little to the left. We got to fix that.
used to be.
There are times
Yeah.
he'll make us do that, but now he's like, you know what? I just got to let it go. It's good enough. No one other than me will notice. Like even when he's building structures and things like that, you could see him. He's like, I got to tear this whole thing apart because this one tiny thing is wrong. And I'm like, Josh, let's just let it go. Like no one's gonna know other than you, and sometimes that's the hardest thing to get over.
Yeah.
Right.
Pigs aren't going to tell you if they don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can relate to that because Anna will have to reel me in a lot, and she's like, "Only you notice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just relax."
Yeah, just move on.
Yeah.
Focus on the next
But-
task.
We have to hear the story of the pig kicking Josh. Can you share that?
Which one? The one
one
where
you-
I fractured a rib?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was last fall.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yep. One of those moments where we're arguing.
Yeah, and there was a pig that got out, and it was in a pasture it wasn't supposed to be in, and it was full, going for a linebacker tackle to catch his pig, and when I
Because
went to-
pigs are fast.
Yeah,
If you've
people
never
are-
seen a pig run, go
Yeah.
try
I
and catch
think
one.
pigs are
I've
fast.
seen video, but I feel like it's hard to tell.
They will outrun you or
Straight up juke.
juke you out.
Yeah.
You
And they're all slimy and muddy. And,
or not even just dry. You're just they're gonna outrun you and juke you out, and you're not catching them. Like you have to.
You have to
think-
grab a leg.
Yeah, you have to think and know how pigs move to catch them. So literally, I was within 5 feet on a sprint, and I was gonna catch it. So I dove for it, and I caught it, but I caught a hoof in the rib cage and fractured a rib.
Needless to say, the pig got away.
And the pig got away because I let go.
Josh
but
had to gather his thoughts, and we had to work together to catch this pig.
Yeah.
Because
but-
it just got past us so many times. And it's late at night. It's hot out. The kids need to eat. There's all this stuff piling up, and you just need to get this one pig. It's only one pig, but it keeps running past you. And you just look at each other. You're like, this pig.
I mean, what? Yeah. What are you supposed? What
Like,
are
you have to get the job done.
How do you humanely capture it.
So what we do is we have a like hog panel that we put over the pig. So it's just like a fencing that you put over it. It's like an oval.
To move them.
Contain it.
Yeah. And then you just move it with them.
And that's easy to do when they're calm and like if they're eating, you set it over them. So like when we load pigs to take to the butcher, we load them up out of the field, but as they're eating, so we put this panel around them and it kind of captures them within it. Barrier. And then you just move them and load them onto the trailer. So it's pretty stress-free. It's literally
they just kind of move
within the panel and then they just walk onto the trailer. But since that, we actually got a herding dog. So where she's in training. So that's helping on the farm to herd the pigs. So if like
the same instance,
it just happened yesterday where pigs do get out because they'll find an area of the fencing where it's like, oh, this is open. I can go right through here.
Right.
A dog's going to work better than 6 people. So they're faster. They're more nimble. They aren't going to complain if it's wet, if it's cold. They're going to work. So we have a border collie that we're training for herding pigs and for the cattle. Like yesterday, it's sent her out and she brought the pigs right back into the area they need to be.
In a matter of 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And the pigs will learn, like, hey, if Gwen's out, we better listen.
Or she's gonna bite me.
Like you go talk. You talk to him for us.
Yeah, and we were talking to a very, very experienced livestock handler and dog trainer, and one of the biggest keys of that is, we focus on stress-free handling. The dog takes the emotion out of it. So pigs can sense, or whatever livestock that may be, they can sense when you're frustrated, when you've had a bad day, when you're in an argument, that type of thing. And they only feed off that emotion versus the dog only has one goal, one job, and it's to do whatever we say.
This wants to please you.
Exactly. So that on the level of just like stress-free handling, making the job easier, more efficient, that type of thing, it's just another layer of that. And, using a herding dog to herd pigs isn't the norm, but what we do isn't the norm. So it's working. People are astonished by it. They're like, wow, like this dog is doing incredible.
6-month-old puppy's out doing this
But not many people pasture raise pigs to begin with. So, we're kind of starting out of the box. So we don't see it as like this big challenge, but it's definitely not something people typically do.
Yeah. And one last question I have, I hear people say like we run cow. What does that mean?
Like run cattle?
Why does all farmers say that? Is that like the lingo?
Typically if you run cattle, that just means they have cattle. It could mean a couple different things. Like I run cattle just means like, hey, I have cattle on pasture and I own cattle.
If you're a truck driver, I run cattle. You're running from state line to state line. You're like a shipper.
Or you're moving cattle that day from one area to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird lingo with farming.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like any business. You have your own language.
Yeah.
Language you speak. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on today, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to do online order, come in person, can you let us know how to do that?
Yeah, so our website, just to, learn more about us, see online ordering, what we have to offer, that type of thing, it's just gmicrofarm.com. Or if you want to visit us in person, we're open every Friday and Sunday from 12 to 4, and we're located at 1659 Apple Pie Ridge Road.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Yep, thank you.